Welcome back to another episode of Brands Bites. It's been a minute. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue doing this or not, but I think I do. So we're going to get back in with a little bit of a lighter episode, but kind of get back into the flow of doing these things because I felt up for it today. So starting off today, we have Samsung shows off a wrist phone concept, which is kind of a weird concept, but I think in terms of phones, unless we just skip over this step and go straight to like neural implants, which is very, very possible at this point, this is probably the next evolution of a phone, assuming that the displays get tough enough, because I think right now the displays, they ain't gonna cut it. But this is really cool. So these are basically, if you remember those snap wristbands that you would snap to your wrist and it would like, go around your wrist and lock on. Then you could roll them back flat, snap them on again. These are basically that, but for a phone display, which actually looks really, really cool. I do have to say, in terms of technology innovations, this is pretty sweet. But with that, there's some problems still, and there's gonna be problems probably for a little bit. One of the two samples this guy saw working, he was able to do some basic scrolling, although most of the time it just resulted in the image on the screen zooming in and out. The cling band definitely looked coolest when it was displaying a gallery of photos all the way around. But I think, like, in terms of if you were to buy an Apple Watch and use that as a phone, it's not quite the experience you would want. Not a big enough screen for doing web stuff, watching videos, whatever. But if your watch was also your phone, but it was just a big screen around your wrist, that would be pretty sweet. Other than the delicacy that would come along with that for right now. Well, with that, there is really cool stuff that's coming out, and this is one of the things I just wanted to talk about quick, because these phone innovations, compared to the Motorola concept, Samsung looks much more polished here, and it actually looks really awesome, and I can't wait to see this in the wild for people to try out and get to see, what's really going on out there for technology. Next up is Elon Musk. We have him in almost every episode because he's in the news so much for just saying stuff, let alone actually he does do cool stuff on top of that. And he's one of the few CEOs that like puts it out there for no reason other than just to show people. So here's another video of Optimus, the robot, and it's walking around their lab, and holy crap, we opened everything there. But it's walking around their lab here, and actually the most impressive thing to me is, I don't have it right now, but I'll throw it on screen for you guys. And for those of you listening, it's just a video of Optimus walking around inside the Optimus like test floor, it looks like. But the smoothness of which it's walking compared to where Optimus was, I want to say like a year ago, last time they released a walking video, it's pretty incredible. And it's walking around, it's turning, it's doing stuff. Now it's hard to know if it's being controlled here, or if it just has like a set path, or what's really going on. But they have shown that it's capable of mapping its environment. It's capable of figuring out this square, this color goes in this bin, stuff like that. So maybe it is capable of doing that as well. It does look like there's X's on the floor the more I watch this video, that it might be set on a path of like go through these and have it mapped out. But it's really hard to say for sure if that's what's going on. But this is really cool that they've gotten it this far already. I mean, you remember this project was at least announced publicly not that long ago. This is a relatively new product, and when it comes out, if they hit anywhere near the $20,000 price point, you can bet that that's going to replace a lot of jobs if it can learn really quickly, which I at this point, I don't see why it wouldn't be able to. It's really impressive. It even, in terms of robots that look like you would expect a like humanoid robot to look, this is honestly my favorite one when it comes to that. But yeah, just wild technology. I'm really excited to see where this goes, other than I'm terrified of what it'll be at. This robot is designed to be around about 5'8" and weigh approximately 125 pounds, so half of one of me. Not quite, but we're getting there. But it is the Gen 2 version of the robot, and it's super cool to see the progress they're making. I wish more CEOs would do the Elon way of just showing off what they're working on. Maybe it never makes it to market. There was rumors today that the Apple car finally got canned, which, to be honest, I don't even know if that was really going to ever be a product. I don't see why Apple would have a reason to get into that market from their standpoint. This mixed reality stuff seems much more their way, and I kind of feel like that was maybe what they were working on. But that said, like showing off stuff like this, maybe this never leaves Tesla HQ. Now they have said that they want it to, and hopefully they'll be able to sell it and sell it to other manufacturers, other, jobs that could use a robot like this basically. But at the end of the day, if it's not even ever going to market, it is so cool to just see what these companies are working on at a minimum that might not ever be seen. And with that, we're jump back over to another Elon Musk topic, which is Neuralink. This is kind of the major thing that's going on right now, in my opinion, and that is we have the first person to ever receive this device. Has had it for a few weeks now, I believe. And the big deal here is he's completely able to control a computer cursor with his mind, can't speak, which is insane. So on January 29th, Musk announced that that was the first time it had been put into a human for the first time. So actually, it's almost been a month now. That said, it's still extremely cool. So this sits on the brain's surface and records the average firing of tons of neurons in your brain, hopefully leading to cure certain diseases, help with people with paralysis. You have a brain chip in your mind, so when you think, I want to walk, you could have robots on your legs to think, move my legs. And so really a promising technology it's actually going to be extremely cool in the future. This is, again, just a trial product, but the fact that, yes, we saw it working in monkeys, but the fact that it's working in a person right now, and it's working, I mean, honestly, he didn't say much more than that he was able to move a cursor, but even if you think for a second that if the cursor thing, if even he's moving it accurately and in like comparable time to, I guess it's not going to be super comparable to like a normal person moving a mouse, but even something above it doing wrong movements. Like if it's clicking exactly where it wants him to click, like if on my screen right now I wanted to click this neurotechnology company embedded link here, and I could just think and it would go and do it, even if it takes a little bit because it's waiting, because maybe you have to think like, I want you to go this way. Like I'm not sure if it's think go here, it goes here, or if it's like go top right, top right, top right. Like do you have to like what's the thought that has to go into it? But either way, any way about it, the fact that he's able to even control a cursor is absolutely wild technology, and I'm excited to see what the next like 6 months, if we hear anything again for the next 6 months, what really becomes of this technology, because it is super exciting, and I'm super excited to see this continue forward. And lastly, we talked about Apple a little bit ago, and we're going to talk about their new headset, since I have not talked about it at all, and we got some really, really interesting technology or updates here. Now, the Apple Vision Pro. Now, because it has Pro in the name, I would expect that at some point we're going to see just a regular Apple Vision that might be half the price even. Even if it is half the price, like that would still be a much more manageable for a lot more people compared to $3,500. But with that, there is some interesting Apple choices, but it's exciting to see Apple stepping out and trying something again. Now, manufacturing costs is what we are learning about today, and it is actually pretty wild how much Apple is spending on bill of materials, which is about 44% the price of the headset. You heard that right, which is about $1,542 per headset, which is it's just wild to think that it costs them that much. That's just the manufacturing cost, by the way. That doesn't take into research and development or marketing. I'm not even sure if that would include like there's so many questions. There's a lot that's going on here with this headset, and that is a big deal. So $1,500, by the way, is you could buy a MetaQuest Pro and have an extra, $500. You could buy 3 MetaQuest 3s and have an extra quite a bit. Now, with that said, there is a bunch of really cool technology in this headset that does cost a metric shit ton. For lack of a better term, for one, the 2 micro OLED displays in this headset cost around $228 per display because they have 3,380 pixels per inch, which is mind-boggling. But the displays of a headset like this are the most important part. As somebody with a Meta Quest 3, from the videos I've seen online, it is actually a lot better. Now, in my opinion, is it worth the extra $3,000? Probably not for what it's capable of at the moment and the lack of apps. That's something that'll all come in the future, and for sure a Gen 2 of this is going to be amazing. You also have, the chipset, the M2 chip, as well as the imaging sensor with the R1 chip. We don't really know what those roughly cost Apple, but I would guess it's a good chunk of money. I wouldn't say those are cheap parts. Now, I don't even think this product, this first gen of this product, I genuinely don't think this is even earning money for Apple. I'd be like, maybe a couple $100, but for like an Apple product, like the iPhone, we know they charged, $1,500 for the top end, and it maybe cost them $200 to build it. Like there's $1,300 in, Apple tax there. I mean, everyone else does it too, but just whatever. Point being, the fact that they're only at 44% here, I think they're scraping margins here on this product for them. I think the cost of the software and development, the working with all these developers to get this thing online, I think they're spending way more than anyone else is on their headsets. I think even Meta at the $500 for the Quest 3, I think they are probably pushing it there too, knowing that when you buy apps, they're going to make more money on that. Apple might be trying to implement the same thing here. I kind of wonder if they've gone the Xbox and PlayStation route where it's sell the headset at a loss or near a loss, try to recoup that money with buying stuff through Apple. Like in this case, Apple TV subscription, stuff like that, stuff that you're going to want to use the headset for. It's just wild that Apple is throwing their stuff out here. I love it. I'm excited to see what either Gen 2 brings or what just regular Apple Vision brings. Because again, this is Apple Vision Pro. Pro with Apple, we always know. There's maybe a Pro Max, which I don't think is coming after this generation, because getting someone to spend, probably in the 8 to 10 grand range on a headset is going to be even more challenging than this one. That said, an Apple Vision at like the $1,500, $1,000 price point, starting, obviously, that, however, could really appeal to the masses. And if they fix some of the problems, I'm calling them problems, but just ease of use factors with them, like only being able to have one display from your MacBook brought up with it, stuff like that. If they change things like that, I think this headset's really going somewhere, and it's just super cool technology. With that, thank you for watching this episode of Brands Bites. It's hopefully it wasn't too rough getting back into it, but I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.